What's up, everybody? Welcome back to P&W Whiskey Society. I'm Grady.
I'm Jason.
All right.
I'm Shawn.
Hey, Shawn. Yeah, we got an awesome guest on the show today. This is Shawn. Shawn, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your whiskey journey?
Well, my name's Shawn Weidman. Didn't think I liked alcohol.
Okay.
I was probably 26 and didn't like beer, didn't like wine. Occasionally would try like hard lemonade, Zima, that kind of thing.
Zima.
But really didn't. I thought those were all too sweet, and I had a boss who kept introducing me to things and hated every one of it. And then one night we were out, and he handed me a glass of this viscous brown liquid, and I said, "What the hell is that?" As it was Maker's Mark neat, and I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
And
Nice.
that was kind of where I lived for a long time. And when I say a long time, like 18 years, I lived in the Maker's Mark, Basil Hayden, Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, Angel's Envy world. And I was very content, not really venturing out of that.
Nice.
And wasn't really sure why I would need to.
Yeah, you like what you like.
I liked what I liked.
When we first met, by the way,
Yeah.
which was 24 years ago-ish.
Yep.
And even lived together briefly.
Yep.
I don't think you drank at all, correct?
Not at all.
Yeah. So did just to go back and just touch on what you said at the beginning, the first one you tried that you liked was Maker's, but do you recall at some point before that, did you try the standard things like your Jack Daniel's Old Number 7, Jim Beam White?
I'd had Jack and Cokes
Okay.
before. I'd had some mixed cocktails, but nothing that I
That's
was really all that interested in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you at right now on your whiskey journey?
So about 2 years ago, I probably had 12 or 15 bottles of different things. Very few things that were even bottled and bond, 100 proof or above. And then it exploded. I had a night where me and a couple friends, we did a tasting, and we were hanging out one night, and we all were talking about Four Roses. And one of us had a Four Roses single barrel, one of us had the small batch, and one of us had the small batch select. And we're like,
perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody go get their bottles, come back here. And our wives poured them blind. And
Nice.
we were all certain we'd like the small batch select the best, because that was all of our favorites. And we drank it, and I think two of the three of us picked the single barrel. We liked that better. One of us picked the small batch. The small batch select came in third place, and it was so fascinating.
Yeah.
That you strip away the labels. You just drink the liquid in the glass.
Yeah.
And it was amazing what we encountered. So then I really started tasting. You'll see in these glasses, I'm a big fan of the Weeg lens and a big fan of half-ounce pours. And, it's not uncommon to try 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things in a night, because when you're only drinking a half ounce, you can.
Yeah.
And from there, my we'll call it a selection of whiskey, improved a bit at the house.
That's
yeah,
great.
to like a library, which
Right.
we're not showing on camera tonight because we don't want to, any of you to get hurt feelings or feel inadequate.
Let's just say my wife's very understanding.
There we go.
And supportive. So
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and then kind of the next phase in that was after that kind of night with my buddies. We talked about how cool that was, and kind of coming out of COVID, we had been talking about ways to build relationships and deepen our community with other guys. And so we came up with the idea of having a club where we do blind tastings. And we wanted it to be something that really was about bringing guys together, but we also wanted it to be more than that. So we created this idea of every time we get together, we have a charity that we are supporting, or a local cause. And we supported local families in need. We've supported different groups like Family Promise, which is amazing things in Clark County for families that are facing homelessness. We've supported a group out of Vancouver called $4, which
they're awesome.
Look up $4. Look up their videos. Look up Jared. Jared's videos. He's their founder. What they're doing is absolutely incredible. The day that we talked to them, I think they had helped families get rid of $300,000 or $400,000 worth of medical bills. So there's some amazing groups that we've got to partner with, and we've been having a lot of the key people from these charities come over to my house for these tastings.
Yep.
And it's been really cool to build these relationships with the guys and to all have this outward focus of doing some real good things in our community.
For sure. Grady and I are actually both a part of that club, and I love it. I'm pretty sure Grady loves it.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite whiskey club I'm a part of, just because it's about whiskey, but it's not necessarily that whiskey's the focus. So.
It's a whiskey club, and we're trying really hard to make it less about whiskey, but we also have tried some really great stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not gonna say I did not love the stag lineup night.
Now, speaking of great stuff, before we get into what you've poured for us tonight, which happens to be blinds, by the way.
In true Shawn fashion.
That's right. If there
How could we do it any other way?
if there were one thing that you still were just searching for, what would it be and why?
You're gonna think this is the worst answer possible.
All right.
It would be a 1979 Beam 100 month in one of the funky decanters.
Wow.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Beam. I drink a lot of Basil Hayden's. Forgive me. I've got a soft spot for Beam, but my grandfather, who died when I was maybe a year and a half, 2 years old, he every year he and my grandmother would go to Reno, and he would come home with the Beam kind of ornate decanter bottle. And he died before I got to know him. My parents inherited some of these bottles from him and gave them to movers when I was young. So this is kind of it would be a way for me to get to know my grandpa.
Yeah,
and,
that's really cool.
I don't know. Everything that I get, my general rule is, if I'm with good friends, we're going to open it. I mean, whatever you want, we're going to open it. We're going to drink it. That's what this thing is there for. I think that's what was intended to be. That might be one I put on a shelf and cherish.
Yeah. That one's just for you and maybe your son or something. Sure.
Yeah.
Get that totally. So tell us a little bit about what we're about to do, and then I will ask you the last question while we sample.
Okay. So we've got 2 whiskeys in front of us. They are going to have some similarities, but they are also very, very different.
Okay.
Wow.
So while we're
really good.
nosing these samples 1 and 2, my bonus question for you, Shawn, is if life took you in a different journey, because I know you have your own career and you're very successful, but if you were to get into whiskey as a way of life, or as a way to make money, would you choose to start your own distillery, or would you choose maybe to get into distribution, or there was a third one, and now I'm forgetting what side of the whiskey business it would be, but
distilling, making the whiskey.
Yeah, or would you? This is what it was. Would you want to maybe open your own sort of whiskey bar / retail store?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think it might be the last one.
Okay.
And
you're a people person.
I like being around people. I like telling stories. I like having a variety of things that we can, and this is something that the guys that come to the club know is a lot of times I'll talk about I'm going to have a sip of this one. I just can't, it smells so good.
That first one is really
stellar.
Really stellar.
Yeah.
It's something.
Number 1's delightful, both on the nose and on the palate.
Yes, we bag.
We don't.
We bag.
Grady and I don't know what these are.
Sorry, but the idea of having a bottle shop with a tasting bar,
yeah,
and You've had, you guys have both had desserts. My friend Jason, his wife makes these amazing desserts, and she does a lot of these for
Jason
our
Ray.
WC Club. Yes. Yeah, my other friend Jason.
Yeah, I'm in love with his wife.
I don't know if we've even met Megan.
Desserts.
It'd be a bottle shop, it'd be a tasting bar, and it would be a bourbon themed dessert bar.
Mm. Oh. All right.
It was definitely a Beam product of some sort.
I don't think so.
No?
It's more rye forward than number one. And I get no peanutty on it, but I could be wrong.
Man.
Now I have to take a second sip of 2 first, and
It's going to sound really weird, but I really just want to feel the neck. And maybe that'll give me a hint, but not going to cheat. Golly, dude, I don't know. That first one is so good. I almost want to say it's an. I was originally going to say Four Roses based on the nose and your story, and then I was thinking, man, that awfully tastes like Maker's Mark cellar aged. But I think it's in that higher realm. It's quality because it's an experience.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I'm leaning a certain way, but only because I know Shawn.
Well, and you guys both know my inventory pretty well.
Right. These are both really good. If I had to guess, I would say that they're 2 different Bardstown batches, maybe a Discovery Series on the first one and some sort of rye forward. But I have no idea. They're both really, really good.
I really like the first one. It's super fruit forward for me.
I do like the first one a little better, but
Yeah.
the second one,
Second one's not bad.
second sip was.
All right, Shawn.
All right.
Do your reveal of the first one, sir.
The first one for you Buffalo Trace fruit fans.
Oh,
Van Winkleton.
Okay.
That is very good.
That
juice right there.
fits very well.
Yes.
And I want to have a sip of number 2 here before we do
Reveal
this.
number 2.
You can feel it, you know?
Mm. I can't say because I did.
So
You did
what
feel
I love about number 2 is the balance between the vanilla and the
I know
oak.
what it is.
And the oak is not tannicky in the slightest.
Right.
Exactly what it is. It's good. And now that I know what it is,
Maker's Mark cellar aged.
It is the cellar aged.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It is cellar aged. I don't know why, but I kind of expected applause from those of you out there, but that's fine. We don't need to do that.
that's really good, man. You know what? First of all, thank you for opening both of those.
Yes.
For,
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if those are fresh pops or not, but could possibly
I
be.
popped both of these tonight.
Wow, you're a good guy.
Good friends. This is what good stuff's made for.
That's so true, man. I'm very curious on, in a blind, if you would be able to distinct the difference between Old Rip and Weller 107.
Well,
Not knowing double blind.
I might be able to. Now, to be fair, this is the first time I've had that specific bottle. I've had Pappy's. I've had all of the Weller lineup, all of the Taylor. Well, that's not true. I haven't had Amaranth or Grain of the Gods. The 3 basic rye included, so 4 basic Taylors. You know, I've had a lot of Stagg Junior. I've had George T. Stagg multiple different years. I've had WOW a couple different years. I don't know.
Flex.
No. I'm just saying. I've never had this specific bottle.
At some point,
and
Jason, it's just going to be
delicious.
easier to tell what you haven't had.
So hadn't had that until tonight. So thank you very much.
There you
and
go.
It's super, super good. What's interesting to me is, and it could be that we tried the Rip first, but how rye forward the cellar aged smelled and tasted to me, because we had that in Kentucky, and I don't remember having that experience with it at all.
Right.
And it's a weeded.
Yep.
So crazy.
We had it in Kentucky on a day where we had a lot of different stuff, and that night when we had it, I'm pretty sure we had it in a flight or after a flight, and so we both really liked it.
Palates may have been a little off.
Possible.
Affected.
They may have been working overtime.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, this has been awesome, Shawn. Thanks again for sharing with us, and thank you for your friendship and what you're doing with Camas Whiskey Club. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Awesome, man.
And for you guys out there, whiskey is an amazing catalyst to building relationships. And I think there's, obviously with any spirit, you have to have an element of responsibility and consideration. But the amount of good that can be done in this world from this brown juice is untapped.
Yeah, I think anytime you bring together people who have like interests, like-minded people, not that we all agree on everything, that's not it, but I think that the potential for doing good is there, just like the potential for not. So just, it's a choice, right?
It's a choice.
And on that note, cheers, fellas.
Cheers. Hey,
Cheers.
we'd love to feature you on PNW Whiskey Society. You don't have to pop said sweet bottles like Shawn did. It can be whatever your favorite is, whatever your go-to is, whether it's Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, whether it's E.H. Taylor Small Batch, whether it's blends, whether it's...
Can be Evan Williams Black Label if
I
you
was
want.
just thinking Evan Williams 100 Proof.
Yeah.
I mean, there's possibilities are endless.
At our whiskey club meeting last week, we tried 8 really interesting things. The bottle that was everyone's favorite was from Woodinville Whiskey.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Single barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.